Hey everyone, my name is Eric and this is your daily dose of hope. Men, we do not like to ask for help. Ladies, you already knew that. I know that I'm guilty of it. I don't like to ask for help. I like to do things on my own. And when I look at it, a big reason is this. I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't want to look like I am weak. But truth be told, that's not a biblical approach. When we look at the story of 2 Corinthians 12, when Paul has a thorn in his flesh, 3 times he asks God to remove it, and God tells him no. And in verse 9 he says, God tells Paul, he says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness." You see, it's when we are at our weakest that Jesus can show up the most. It's when his power can be perfected. And that is what we see in Mark 10 when Jesus heals blind Bartimaeus. So let me read that for you. It's Mark 10 verses 46 through 52. "And they came to Jericho, and as Jesus was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a great crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind beggar, the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, 'Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me.' And many rebuked him, telling him to be silent. But he cried out all the more, 'Son of David, have mercy on me.' And Jesus stopped and said, 'Call him.' And they called the blind man, saying to him, 'Take heart, get up, he is calling you.' And throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. And Jesus said to him, 'What do you want me to do for you?' And the blind man said to him, 'Rabbi, let me recover my sight.' And Jesus said to him, 'Go your way, your faith has made you well.' And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him on the way." Now there's 5 things I want to quickly point out from this. The first one is this: cry out to God in your weakness. Here's Bartimaeus. He's blind. He's a nobody in Jewish society. He's an outcast. But what does he do? He says, "Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me." And even when people are telling him no, he doesn't care. He cries out in all his weakness to Jesus. And maybe that's what you need to do in your weakness. Get down on your knees. Don't be afraid to cry. Do whatever it is to just say, "God, I cannot do it." Be weak so God can be made strong. Secondly, ignore the naysayers. Ignore the naysayers in your life. You saw it with Bartimaeus. The people rebuked him. They probably said something like, "Sit down, blind man, shut up," right? But he didn't listen. Instead, he cried out all the more to Jesus. And you've got to do the same thing. Those people in your life that just tell you, "Hey, pull yourself up by your bootstraps," or "Be tough," or that sort of thing, that's a Western thing. That's a first world thing. That's America type of attitude, but that's not a godly attitude. So stay away from doing that. Ignore the naysayers and cry out to Jesus. Number 3, know that Jesus sees and hears you. In verse 49, Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." Jesus heard Bartimaeus' cry. He will hear yours. The 4th thing I want to say is this: let Jesus know what you want. We see this in verse 51. Jesus said to Bartimaeus, "What do you want me to do for you?" And the blind man said to him, "Rabbi, let me recover my sight." Be specific with Jesus. Cry out and tell him specifically what it is that you want. And then finally, have faith, right? Jesus said to Bartimaeus, "Go your way, your faith has made you well." Have faith. And that's what I want to tell you today. Don't be afraid to be weak. Cry out to God in your weakness and see his strength perfected. God bless.